What's up, our amazing viewers from YouTube. We want to welcome you back to a happy new year. Wish you happy new year. And we are sorry we've taken long before we do a video, but we are back yet again. Remember, this is your favorite shop, the Decibel Audio Kenya. We are here at the junction of Luthuli Avenue and Kamae Road. When you come here, find us, always pop in, come say hi, come shop from us, come buy from us, and we are always glad to bring you these amazing videos. Before we do anything else, kindly remember to subscribe to our content, subscribe to our channel, comment if you have any form of question. Remember, your questions are the ones that form the basis of our videos. So if you have any question, comment with your questions. Subscribe, guys, kindly subscribe to our content, to our channel, and we shall be grateful forever. So today we want to do yet another video. We want to bring you a video, and we want to talk about something called how do you choose your speakers. How do you choose your speakers when you want to do sound setup? When you're doing sound, what exactly do you go for? Why do you choose this over this? So we want to explain to you how frequencies work in terms in relations to the speakers. So how frequencies work in terms in relations to the speakers. So we want to show you exactly why you should go for a tweeter, why you should go for a mid-range, what types of mid-ranges are there, what types of low speakers are there. So we want to explain all that in reference to frequencies. So without further ado, I'll explain the first lesson using this equalizer. So this equalizer is going to help us understand frequencies. All right, it has two channels, channel number 1 and channel number 2. So this is a B&K equalizer. It's called 231. It's similar to that of DBX. So it's almost the same thing. So I will explain using these numbers that you see right over here. All right. So this is it's starting from 20. This is called 20 hertz. So 20 hertz is a low frequency, the lowest of frequency found on this particular gadget is a 20 hertz frequency. It's going all the way up to 20 kilohertz. So this 20 kilohertz frequency, this is the highest level in terms of frequency. This is the highest level of frequency. The sharpest of them all is a 20k frequency. All right, so it's a 20k hertz. So all the way from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So let me explain something. The lower you come, so 20 hertz is a low frequency. So low frequency, I mean base frequency. So the low frequency, the sub frequencies will be found from this end going all the way. So up to around maybe 160, you'll still find very sharp low frequencies. Right? So very sharp low frequencies. The more you go, now you get mid frequencies from this particular segment right over here. And the higher you go, up to 20 kilohertz, you get the highest form of frequency. So that is just number 1. So at least now you are able to understand that if you are using, let me just talk about 3 frequencies. I want to talk about the low frequencies, I want to talk about the mid frequency, and talk about the high frequencies. So the base speakers or the sub speakers will give you low frequencies. So the low frequencies are the sub frequencies, right? The very low frequencies. Base frequencies that you normally find in base speakers or in subwoofers and stuff, those are called the low end frequencies. Then you have the mid frequencies. Normally when you're using mid-range speakers, when you're using full-range speakers, you're likely to get a combination of mid frequencies, and most of the mid-range speakers, like these ones, these mid-range speakers that you see over here and the full-range speakers will give you mid frequencies, and because they have a tweeter inside, they'll also be able to give you a high frequency. So the high frequencies are normally the tweeters. If you're able to hear that, that is called the high frequency, and those ones are the ones that you find from 5k to 6k to 8k, 10k, all the way to 20k. So if you have feedbacks can come from any of these frequencies, but the most notorious in terms of feedbacks, you will normally find them from the high frequencies. So that's why you find when you stand in front of a speaker, you're likely to get feedbacks. The very high ear disturbing noise that come when you stand in front of a speaker are normally caused by the high frequencies. So if you have your equalizer and lower all your high frequencies, you are likely not to experience most of these frequencies or feedbacks. Feedbacks. So low frequency, mid frequency, and high frequency. So let's start with the high frequency, or we can actually just start with the low frequency. So the bigger the diaphragm of a speaker, the more it's going to have, or the more it's going to produce low frequencies. All right. So if you see a speaker with a very big 18-inch diaphragm, or the diameter is 18-inch, we currently also have 21 inches like this one. These are 21 inch diaphragm. The diameter for this particular speaker is 21 inches. So that's from here to the other end. Then you see the size of the magnet is very big magnet. Then the size of the voice coil, which is normally inside here. Normally inside here you will find the voice coil. Like this particular one has 152 millimeter. 152 millimeter in terms of the size of the coil. So normally they are very big sizes, and these ones will give you low frequencies. So the bigger the magnet, the bigger the diaphragm, the bigger the coil, that one tends to give you low frequencies. So when you want sub speakers, know you are going for 18-inch. You can also have 15-inch. Now what happens when you have a 15-inch that has a big voice coil, right? Has a big voice coil, but the speaker itself is 15-inch. Has a big voice coil, but it's 15 inches. It's likely to give you something called a low mid, because the 15 inches automatically supports mid frequencies. All right, but because the size of the coil and the size of the magnet is very big, you are likely to get very nice, soft, low frequencies, not the hardest ground shaking low frequencies, but you have very sweet or very welcoming low frequencies from a 15 inches that has a big magnet, big diaphragm, big voice coil. All right, so let's say talk from 99.9, let's talk about 125 millimeter. Anything beyond or above 99, you're going to get low frequencies. So when you have a speaker that is 18 inches, 21 inches, that's a pure sub speaker. Now, depending with the size of the voice coil, that's why you are normally told when you are buying a speaker, ask them or ask whoever is going to sell to you, what is the response rate for that speaker? What is the size of the voice coil? Because once you understand the size of the voice coil, then from understanding these frequencies, like the 21 inch speaker that has a 152 voice coil, you're going to get its best sound coming from, if it supports, I'll confirm, but if it supports, let's say from 25 hertz to around maybe 40 hertz. So if you're working with these frequencies over here, this is where you get the best out of that speaker. So that kind of sound, this one is called the ground shaking. This is the most vibrant, the heaviest, the one that can even break windows, because it's the lowest form of frequency, very, very low. So the one that, if it's being pumped properly with very high, and now for those kind of speakers, they require plenty of watts to be able to drive them. So the amplifier that you're going to use requires plenty of watts. Like this speaker alone is like 3,400 watts. So you need a very big amplifier from around 4,000, 5,000 amplifiers watts. That's where you get the likes of Sound Standard CA60, which has around 64 transistors. The Morgan can also do a very good job because they're very powerful, very heavy, around 60 transistors and 16 capacitors. So they're very heavy in terms of watts amplifiers. So these ones are the only ones that can be able to drive these particular low-end speakers. So when you have these particular very heavy 21 inches, 18 inches with very big voice coils, very big magnets, always know that you are going for ground shaking kind of low frequencies. Then we have another kind of frequency that is low frequency but not the heaviest. So it's just the normal low frequency. All right, so it's just a normal low frequency. It's a bass but not the ground shaking kind of bass. So there are different varieties of lows. You have the ground shaking low bass. You have another bass or another low frequency that is very low but can go or can travel very far. So it's going towards the mid but it's still at low frequencies. That's where you get the 18 inches bass with a voice call of around 99.9, 125. You get a very heavy bass with a very strong punch, and can also be able to go a long distance in terms of how much it can be able to travel. So you get those ones from speakers that don't necessarily have a big 21 inch. So you can get it from the 18 inches, 99.9 voice coil, 99, 100 voice coil, 125. So these kind of basses will not ground shake. They'll have very strong basses and they'll travel far. What can you get from a 15 inches? As I was explaining earlier, if you have a 15 inches in terms of diameter, then it has 99, 125 if you can get, and it's a 15 inches, you get something called a low mid frequency. So it's a low frequency but has plenty of low touches in it. That's where you get if you have speakers like Kappa Pro. Kappa Pro is a low mid frequency, and from your crossover you can be able to control that so well. So when you're using a crossover, when you have a crossover, there's a place that is written low mid frequency, so you're able to adjust that one. So that is for the low frequencies. All right, something to consider when you're playing an instrument like a bass guitar. Let me just show you, Alex. Come along, let me just show you. So if you are in a live setup, all right, so this bass guitar, this is an active bass guitar. All these strings will produce different frequencies. This one will produce a very low ground shaking kind of bass, very low. All right, the size can even tell you it's very low. This will produce very strong and powerful sub. So the lower you go, this one has a mid. It's a low frequency but has a mid touch in it. So if your speakers are only sub speakers that have very deep frequencies, you're not able to hear the sweetness of this string, because the frequencies that this string will produce can only be heard from probably 15 inches, 12 inches or 10 inches speaker. So when you're considering to do a good sound setup, remember you have to have a deep bass, a normal bass and a sharp bass in your frequencies for you to be able to experience some of these frequencies, because you need a balance of all the frequencies that are found in an equalizer that are actually available in sound. So that is about the bass frequencies, and you can also be able to get very sweet, welcoming low frequencies from smaller speakers that have big size in magnets and have big voice coil. Let me show you an example. Like this speaker right over here. Where is that sub? Kaleka 12, like see here. Kaleka 10 inch. All right, so like that JBL right over there. So that JBL is in 12 inch. That's a 12 inch speaker. The naked speaker, yes, that's a 12 inch speaker. It has a voice coil of 99.9, but it's a 12 inch speaker. So that one will give you very sweet low frequencies. Like the string that I just shown you, that string is able to produce the low mid frequencies. Then now we come to the mid frequencies. The mid frequencies, again, you'll get these ones from 15 inches speakers, 12 inches speakers, 10 inches speakers, 8 inches speakers. The smaller you get, the more clearer you're going to get. Right? So just understand that with frequencies, that the smaller the speaker, you'll probably not get a lot of power from it, but you get very nice, harmonized, very clean, very clear voices from these particular speakers. So if you want power, then no voice coil will matter, no the size of the magnet will matter. If you want clarity, no, the smaller the speaker, the more you get more clarity. So mid speakers, the same as we had explained from here. You get now these mid frequencies, most of the speakers 15 inches from 125 hertz all the way to around 800. You still get mid 1K, you still get mid frequencies, now depending with the size of the speaker, the size of the voice coil and all those factors. Then you have the high frequencies. So the high frequencies have very small coil. So the smaller the coil, in terms of even the wires that produce the coil themselves, the smaller, the higher frequencies you are going to get. So we have normal speakers that have, again, voice coil of around 34, we have 44, we have 54, we have so many, and we also have 74, we have 94. So the more you are going to get a bigger. All right, so let's talk about the high frequencies. As I was explaining, you get a small voice coil for the tweeters. You get very clear, high, sharp frequencies, but not with a lot of power. So the higher you go in terms of coil size, you get more power. Of course, same clarity in terms of highness of frequencies, but it's able to prolong to long distances. It's able to go further. It's able to have multiple. It's able to have much more power in terms of capacity, in terms of how far it can go. So if you have a bigger voice coil in terms of tweeter, then you get very high frequencies that can be able to hold up more power. More power means they can be able to go further in terms of distance. So you have very big, there are people who will decide to do the normal speakers, the mid-range speakers, and decide to also build a small cabinet for the high frequencies alone, then able to drive those ones now from the crossover. You have the high frequencies, you drive them from there, you get very high frequencies that can also be able to go either very far, and if you want them to go very far, always remember, put them very high, because they can be very destructive in terms of ears, in terms of feedbacks and stuff. So that's why you'll see a professional person having low frequencies, ground shakers, very low. So you put the bass speakers down, because the low frequencies will travel best from very low levels. Then from there you have mid speakers that are going to meet the ears. Then you have extremely very high sharp tweeters. Place them be very very high in terms of position, so that they cannot be destructive to the ears, but they can be able to send sound very very far. That's why you will find in mosques, in other places, they have horn speakers. So the horn speakers use the same concept, because the horn speakers driver looks like this one. All right, so this is a magnet for the horn speaker. So this is what they do, because now when they put this one, this is around 100 watts. So for the 100 watts, very small, so they have a very small voice coil. This one can go farthest. All right, so in terms of frequencies, the sharper or the higher the frequency, the more distance it can be able to travel. So low frequencies will not travel very far, but very high frequencies. Now when you boost them, like this one, you're going to boost with a very big horn. In terms of diameter, you can have 18, 21 inches. Then it's able to pass the voice and go very far. That's why you'll find most of these horn speakers are placed very high on top of buildings. Then they are able to communicate, and they're able to send voices very very far. So that is it basically in terms of frequencies. Low frequencies, you have low, very low ground shaking frequencies. You have normal low frequencies. You have low mid frequencies. In terms of mid, you have the normal mid frequencies. You also have a frequency called the low mid frequency, which also acts as a mid frequency. Then you have the high mid frequency, a combination of high and mid. Then you have the high frequency, which are basically the tweeters, and I've explained everything on that video. So kindly give us a subscription. We want to keep on bringing you more content. We have bettered our mics. We have been able to better our camera as well. Now we are using a camera, so it means that we are going to give you more amazing content. Alex will no longer be able to see him, because now he's holding the camera. Probably today's camera or today's video might be a bit shaky, but next time you get a stand as well, and we are able to give you good content all the same. So kindly give us a subscription, give us a comment, like, share our content, and we appreciate you very very much. So from Decibel Audio Kenya, we say bye bye, cheers, see you in the next video. Thank you.